Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your Marcus from Team Takeover, and today I'm coming at you with my Piccolo Jr. deck profile that I played in the Structure Deck tournament today at P2 Collectibles. Huge shout outs to P2 Collectibles, 204 East Magalia Road, best shop on the planet, in my opinion. Just basically have awesome price support, great environment, great players there, strongest team. Team Takeover in Indiana, let's go, baby. That's us, Team Takeover. And anyway, I just wanted to talk about this deck. It was a structure deck tournament. I got first place after playing 3 rounds because it was such a low count for a structure deck tournament. I know, not very big pool, but all in all, overall, it was a super fun day, and that's actually sometimes what I miss about Dragon Ball. Like, I was talking to a friend of mine while we were playing, and it was astounding that we both got to 8 energy. Wow, man, those days are definitely kind of behind us. Thanks for Rudigarn. But either way, I just thought I would give you guys this deck profile, and I looked at it as an opportunity to do something I've never done on the channel, which is talk about a structure deck. And I think that this structure deck has, especially with its leader, a lot of potential, just because of how much advantage your leader gives you. So basically, if you're able to do it on your Awake Inside, your leader's ability will do like a +2 swing, which is just enormous card advantage in the long run. And so, yeah, I think that this leader is actually pretty good. So, Piccolo Jr. And I also want to say before I get into it, I was not playing with this giant top loader. I was actually playing with this rinky dink thing. Yeah, so that's what actually I played with today. I actually realized when I got home that I had this, so I thought I'd use it for the deck profile. Not that I play with giant top loaders all the time, but Piccolo Jr. So when on this side, when it attacks the leader, you draw a card. Really great, because you like to fuel your hand just so that you have the resources available to you to set your Namekians up for your bond properly. And then untap 2 to awaken it for less life. And on this side, this is where things get a little bit bonkers. So when this card attacks it draws a card. And for tapping 1 green energy, this has nothing to do with your attack. But activate main, you can just destroy a 5 or less card, and then this card gains plus 5,000 attack. So it being able to pressure for 20,000 attack and kill a card and draw a card on this side is absolutely ludicrous. I cannot express enough how good this effect is, because basically what's happening is you're drawing a card, they're losing a card, and then if they don't want to take the attack, they have to spend at least a 10k at their leader, unless it's Sensibine or something, which just eventually gets out of hand. The more this leader the longer the game goes on with this leader, basically the worse it's going to be for your opponent. So that's pretty much the leader. I actually really like this leader a lot, and I want to do something more with him. So onto the deck profile. We have 2 King Piccolo, Lord of Terrors. So basically this is the structure deck ratios for everything. So if you just want to look up the structure deck list, you can see that. But I just kind of wanted to talk about what these cards do and whether they're good or bad for the deck. So this card's insane for the deck just because he's your boss monster. 25k double strike. Bond 3 has an ability in hand as a permanent ability that says if you have 3 Namekians on board, you reduce the cost in your hand by 2. So it's a 3-drop, and when it comes into play, it KOs a 5 or less battle card, which on top of your leader is just insane advantage. Like this deck gets its advantage every turn by making sure that you lose cards, which is absurd. So he's pretty good. Another card that does that for you is Endano Link Son Gohan. This card's pretty good because it's just another 3k, 15k, 3k, 3-drop, 15k card that can KO card. And it can put extra pressure on cards for 15. And make, like, basically the deck is very resource management based and like out resourcing your opponent and making and punishing them for playing cards, which is kind of crazy. And he fits the deck pretty well. But honestly, this engine's not super necessary in here. Other Namekians definitely would be preferred. 3 Namekian Bon Saunel. You're gonna have to like forgive me for pronouncing this. I just don't know how to pronounce that card. But this card's actually insane. So what this does, it is Bond 3, and when you play it, you draw a card, and then you can take up to 2 of your life, add them to your hand, and if you do, KO one of your opponent's cards. So that's just stupid, because that in itself, like playing this card, taking 2 life is 2 more cards to hand, so I've plus 2'd, and then I minus my opponent there, and I drew a card. That is a 4 tempo swing against my opponent, which is just absurd. And I actually like this card a lot because it helps with Self-Awakening. And that was another cool thing about this structure deck. Over every structure deck that I've played with so far, lots of Self-Awakening, and this card was very key. And major place of the day. Next is Dark Vassal. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that last word. I think it's... Yeah, no, not going to try and pronounce that. Either way, 15k critical, 2-drop, but honestly, just charge fodder. Never actually played it, so yeah. And critical is really good in the mirror. Really good in the mirror. Less cards they have, the better. In down only, Piccolo. This card's good because it searches out your Gohan. It's also a 2-drop, so basically, if you play it off Planet Namek, which I'll show you later, you basically get to plus, which is pretty insane. Next is Namekian Duo Prina. Yeah, so this card's pretty good too. So what you can do with this card is you can take a Namekian, put it underneath him, and if you do, it gains 10,000 critical and you draw a card, which is just kind of good. So 20k crit pressure, it replaces the card that you put underneath it, and critical's just pretty good. Next, we play 4 Power Barrier Piccolo. This is just 15k 2-drop with barrier. The reason why it's super good is because it fits underneath the Planet Namek field effect. And it's barrier, which means in the mirror match, your opponent can't just remove it off the board. It allows you to have stable bond. Then we have Namekian Duo Sauno. I'm just never going to be able to pronounce that right. He's your super combo. He works like the Universe super combos at 5. And then you can just draw a card. 10k boost. Really good if you don't want to awaken improperly. Like if you'd rather awaken for extensions, you can just use those defensively. Onto the 1-drops, we played Dark Vassal Drum. This was nothing but charge fodder. Never played it other than for energy. 2 Dark Vassal Symbols. I don't know how to pronounce that. Again, primary charge fodder. I think I played it as a blocker once. And it does come up if you like want to protect your Namekians that have attacked so that you can keep them for bond. But that's neither here nor there and kind of irrelevant. 4 of one of the most slept on and underrated negates in the game. Sacrifice. I actually cannot talk enough about how good this card is for a number of reasons. 1, you can play it when you're tapped out, which is just good. 2, it is self-awakening because you don't have to tap energy for this. You can take life for it, which is absurd. It's like, it's a negate with like Mecha Freeze's effect built into it. So you just take a life to play it instead of its energy cost. I can't express how good this card is, guys. Like, this is one of the... Like, if I were to play a Namekian deck, this would be one of the cards that sold me on it. Just because, like, I just get to negate while I'm tapped out. Like, and that's really, really good. And to top that off, it's not just that. It's, like, Self-Awakening negate, which is even better. So, if I have... Like, if my opponent... Like, if my opponent was going to swing at me with a critical card, I could literally take this instead of that critical. So I just get that life to my hand, and then I negate that attack, and then they're stifled, and yeah, it's good. I mean, obviously, it's no Flying Nimbus, like, let's be real here, but it's pretty good. Like, that's a really good effect for a negate, and I really like this card a lot in the deck. 4 Newfound Power Sun Gohans. If only structure decks, all structure decks came with such good Self-Awakening, they might be more viable out the box. But this guy, oh my gosh, this guy. Just being able to Self-Awaken and at the same time swing for 15k critical, yeah. Pretty good. Like that card a lot. And the fact that you get 4 of them in the structure deck or starter deck is kind of insane. 4, Gift of Power Guru. This card is great. Like, first off, I killed somebody with this card today. It had 61,000 attack. Yeah. Secondly, this card is just insane because it makes all of your 2-drop Namekians that come in off of Planet Namek, it makes them have extra pressure against your opponent's leader, and that's kind of backbreaking over time because they're either having to choose between taking the attacks or dying. So, and he's just really good. At one time, I had 2 of the guy that pumps him up by 10k critical and draws you a card. I had 2 of them on board, and I kept using his effect every single turn, and I pumped him up to 30,000 critical, which is a lot of pressure. So, and these cards never have to tap themselves for that. They just give any battle card you want that pressure, which is super good. 4, Kind-Hearted Dendes. This card's just good because it's your generic 1-drop. It's a Namekian. It searches top 3 cards of your deck for a Namekian. Really good. Best targets are itself, Guru, and your super combo. Just not a lot to say. It can add anything, honestly, that is a Namekian. It has no energy cost, which is also super good. And the second selling point of the deck, and the last 4 cards of the deck, Planet Namek. This card. This card is dumb. It is seriously stupid. Tap 1 green energy, so you play it for a green, and then you can tap another green energy. And you just look at the top 5 cards of your deck and play a 2-drop or less Namekian. Now, that doesn't sound like it does a whole lot because it's like, oh, 2-drop Namekian, like, there aren't very many of them. No, there are a lot of good 2-drop Namekians, and one of the cards that I would put in this deck that did not come in the structure deck is Namekian Ace Nail. That card with this effect would be stinking bonkers. And it's 2 or less, so if it hits Dende, you get to look at the top 3, you search, and add another Namekian after that. If it hit Namekian Ace Nail and there was already another Namekian on board, you swing with Nail, you get to draw a card. So you see what I'm saying here? So like this card, plus with Nail plus. If you hit the Piccolo that searches the Gohan, that's another plus. And then, not to mention, there's this guy, like, who's just, it gets out of hand fast. And not to mention with Guru, you can hit Guru and then you can just pump up whatever cards you have on board. You can get the critical guy, then put a card underneath, plus by drawing another card, and then basically get to give him 10,000 critical. You can hit your super combo and then play it off an attack if you're gonna put your opponent under more pressure. There's just lots of good ways to use this card, and this card nets the deck a lot of advantage quickly. The second thing I will say, and aside from Nail, is Kami's Power Piccolo, and I cannot stress this enough, would just be downright busted in this deck. Just because, first off, you basically play your boss monster for 3 anyway, which means that Kami's Power Piccolo would then become the highest played card in the deck. 4 is a great number for you to be playing your most powerful cards. And he is broken. He would be so good in the deck because basically he does what he does. He does what all your other cards, your other big cards do, which is pop cards. And he does it every turn, and he's barrier, and he's 20k double strike, which would just fit so great with the deck. So those are 2 changes that I would make, and I would obviously cut some other cards. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this deck down below. I think that this deck is fun and great and good, and I want to work with it. But yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know any tech choices that you would put in the deck if you've messed around with Namekians. And I will see you guys next time. Look forward for more discussion videos, deck profiles, and the like. This is Marcus from Team Takeover, signing off.